Prism Live Studio is an awesome alternative to OBS for new streamers. The main drawback is efficiency. So today I want to show you how to optimize Prism Live Studio and your streams so you can have the best experience possible with Prism Live Studio. Hello my YouTube friends! If you aren't familiar with Prism Live Studio, it's a totally free live streaming software that's really easy to use. There's a link in the description down below so you can download it and check it out for yourself. And yes, this video is sponsored by Prism Live Studio, but I'm not, and they aren't trying to sell you anything. It's totally free. They just want to make you aware that it exists and what kind of awesome things that it can do. A lot of people are trying Prism and I've been getting a lot of questions about it. One of the main questions I get is, will this plugin or that plugin work with Prism Live Studio? The plugins I show on this channel are for OBS, not Prism. If you have a plugin that you'd like to see integrated into Prism Live Studio, you should leave a comment below or tell them directly on their website. They are constantly working to improve the software and read everything that you write in the comments here so that they can get better. Now let me show you how you can optimize your setup in Prism so you can have the best possible experience. Okay, so here in Prism, this is the standard setup. And you can see down here we have these thumbnails. Believe it or not, these thumbnails are not particularly good for the CPU usage on your machine. So that's the first thing that we're going to fix. We're going to go down into our settings. We're going to go to visual. We're going to scroll all the way to the bottom here and we're going to change these thumbnails to text and we're going to click apply. And now you can see that our scenes are listed in text form, which is going to save a whole heck of a lot of CPU usage. So if I just bring this up here so we could see it better, you can see we have lots of different scenes in here, but now we don't have thumbnails using clock cycles that we don't need to use. So we're gonna go back into settings and optimize a little bit more. First thing we're gonna do is go to output, make sure your output scaled resolution is the same size as you're streaming at. Then we're gonna go to visual and we wanna make sure that our base canvas resolution and our output scaled resolution are both the same size that we plan to be streaming at. Back in output, just make sure that your frames per second here is what you're streaming at as well. So you wanna make sure that you're streaming either 30 or 60. Make sure that's correct. Your output scaled resolution and of course your two canvas resolutions should be exactly the same. And if you do that, you're as optimized as you can possibly be from the perspective of what you can set up in Prism. Now there are ways that you can and should optimize the assets that you're going to use. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm gonna minimize this and right here I have a directory set up with assets that I would be using in my live stream. And what we're going to do is convert these from the giant MP4 format to a WebM format to make it easier. We're going to use Shutter Encoder. Shutter Encoder is totally free, so you can download it and put it on your machine very easily. I will leave a link in the description so that you can check it out. What we're going to do first is we're going to take these solid ones that don't need any alpha. We're going to drag them over here and we're going to drop this down. We're going to select VP9 and that's all we need to do. We can just click start function and what it's going to do is go ahead and convert all of these into WebM files, making them much smaller and more efficient for them to be able to run in Prism Live Studio. And by the way, you should be doing this if you're using OBS as well. You should be optimizing all of your assets. Now, I know all these assets are in 1920 by 1080. You should not be trying to run assets that are 720 in a 1080 stream, and you should not be trying to run assets that are in 4K in a 1920 by 1080 stream. You should be downsizing or upsizing those assets so that they are 1920 by 1080. That is all part of making your stream more efficient, and you should be doing that whether you're using OBS or Prism. This will make a humongous difference in how much CPU usage you're using. There we go. Now all those have been optimized. I'm going to go ahead and clear this and we're going to use an overlay. So I'm going to drop that in there, and for the overlay we're going to use VP9 again, but I'm going to go into advanced features and I'm going to go ahead and enable the alpha channel so that it will be transparent. And we're going to click start function. And this is where you're really going to notice a massive amount of difference. Look at the difference in the file sizes there. It's absolutely huge. So we're going to go back into Prism Live Studio and let's go ahead and add our overlay scene. There we go. And for sources, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go into scenes. And we're just going to add that scene. There we go. And we're gonna add an overlay over top of this. So we're gonna go to video and music, click OK, and we'll call this overlay and click OK. We're gonna just browse here to our overlay, and we wanna get the WebM file, which is this one right here. And we want to loop it since it's an overlay. You can change and adjust the speed and everything else. There we go. And now we can take our camera and make it smaller. And here we'll be able to add all of our text and everything else into this overlay as we see fit. That's what an overlay is. It's just kind of the basics for adding all the other stuff. So we would use stream elements to add our text up here and all the other stuff. But there you go. So now we have an overlay in here, and you can see that it's using a pretty decent amount of GPU and CPU, but it comes and goes pretty quickly. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. Prism is not going to be efficient and may even struggle on machines that don't actually have a graphics card, like an NVIDIA graphics card or something like that. So if you go in to your encoding and you don't have the NVIC encoder and you have to use something like X264, your machine may struggle, and you may want to make sure that you optimize all of your assets as much as you possibly can, because it's already overworking the machine to do the encoding process. And if it has to also encode assets that are not optimized or anything like that, well, it's going to really struggle. Let's add one more scene so I can show you what we did with these other ones. We'll just call this scene 2 at this point, and I'm going to go ahead and go to scene. We'll add my camera in here again. Then I'm going to go ahead and click the plus, and we're going to add one of those video sources that we resized, and we'll just add this one here, and we want to loop it. Click OK. We're going to move this below our camera. So this would be the equivalent of having a background running or whatever while you're doing anything. This could be a game, it could be whatever you want it to be, but you got to make sure that you optimize every asset in Prism Live Studio so you can get the most out of it. And I can probably load this up and my GPU won't go much above 20%, which is pretty good. You can see that my CPU is kind of almost untouched. But if you're running an X264, you don't have a GPU. So your CPU is going to be running the 20% plus the 5 or 6% that the CPU is doing here, and it's less efficient to encode that way as well. And that's why machines without a dedicated graphics card tend to struggle, especially with something like Prism Live Studio that isn't quite as optimized as OBS. So just keep that in mind. So if you follow these steps, you can optimize your Prism Live Studio to have the best chance of having a great experience when you're live streaming. Please make sure to resize all of the assets that you plan to use into the native output resolution, whether it's 1920 by 1080 or 720, whichever one it is. Resize everything and then run it and make sure that it is all WebM so it's totally optimized to stream. And if you follow these steps, you're going to have a much better and more efficient stream when streaming with Prism Live Studio. If you want to see how Prism stacks up against OBS, you should check this video out. Big thanks to all the sponsors that support the channel. You'll find their links below in the description under the heading sponsors. I couldn't possibly do this without them or you, so thanks. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Feyrer Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.